What is up, Flick fans? Welcome back to my channel. Today we are talking Watchmen Episode 4. Now, obviously, I was not here last week to talk about Episode 3. Had a bit of a family thing to deal with. My grandmother, who is still sick in the hospital. Thank you guys for all of your comments about that. But we're back talking Episode 4. Just a quick recap on Episode 3. I enjoyed it quite a bit. It may actually be my favorite episode of the season, introducing some really cool new elements, some characters that I really enjoyed, and of course, posing a lot of questions that we don't have answers to just yet, but that's what I find intriguing about this series. Today we're talking Episode 4. Let's get into it. So, reclusive trillionaire Lady True finally enters the stage with a mysterious offer. With Blake getting closer to the truth of her cover-up, Angela enlists Looking Glass for help. The Lord trains 2 new servants. So, I am the guy who has really enjoyed this series thus far. I've seen plenty of people on the other side of the fence. I'm interested to see how many of those people are still watching because, hey, if you're sticking around, something's keeping you here. I feel that way about a lot of shows, but enjoying it up until this point, enjoying it through Episode 4, being intrigued as to what is going to happen next, and just really digging what they're doing with the technical elements of this show. It is ridiculously well shot. It looks fantastic. All of those elements are there, exactly what you want from an HBO quote-unquote superhero series. Now, this episode, you finally get a chance to see Lady True, who we've been hearing about for quite some time, this mysterious trillionaire who's been in the shadows until this episode. At the beginning of this episode, we get a look at a couple on a farm who's just, they're living their lives, and then all of a sudden, Lady True is there. Everyone knows of her, but nobody has really seen her up until this point. And the fact that we don't know anything about her, as well as the Clarks, the family that's on screen, not knowing just as much as we don't know, we had the exact same feeling that they have, just like, what the heck is going on? And this felt like a very Watchmen part of the episode, which is what I want to see. And hey, they stay alive, along with their brand new child, who they got from giving her their land, and I believe it was like 40 acres, and she needs this literally as soon as possible. We see the time literally ticking off of that hourglass. And hey, the baby is actually their child, because that's how she made her fortune. She owned all of those clinics, including the fertility clinic, and they had a failed attempt, and this came from that. Diabolical, ruthless. We still don't know too much about this character, but just from what we've been presented with thus far, she's sketchy. And that scene really did get me excited about this episode. An episode that I enjoyed. Now, this one in particular does feel a bit more like filler than the others thus far, because in every episode we've gotten something new, and obviously the new thing in this episode is what I just talked about. But from then on, you're just kind of going about the business we've been handling in the previous couple of episodes. Angela is back in action. She's trying to figure out who the heck is her grandfather, the fact that her car got pulled up into the sky, a lot of mysteries to solve, and of course she teams up with Lori, our new character that was introduced in the last episode. Didn't get a chance to talk about her, but I love her. I love everything about her. Very intriguing, a character from the comics that they've changed up quite a bit for this show. It's very much going in a different direction. I do think some people are going to take issue with that, especially in this episode where they continue going, kind of straying away what people know from the graphic novels. Doesn't bother me just yet. I have to see where we go. This is one of those episodes where we're just kind of sitting and waiting on these plot threads to all develop throughout the next couple of episodes. I'm intrigued. I'll say that. I feel like I've said that every week. I am intrigued to see where this show is going to go. But I did enjoy certain elements here, right? You have a conversation between Angela and Lady True. They can both speak Vietnamese in the conversation that they have with each other, while everyone else is standing around not knowing what you're saying. I believe she says, your grandfather wants to know if you got the bills. And Angela's just like, tell that old effer he can just ask me himself. Like, why is he trying to go through you? Confront me. Now, what exactly is going on with Will, the grandfather, and Lady True? We don't know the answer to that yet. A very interesting conversation goes down at the end of this episode, and you feel like there's just this plan that they're hatching, and you just don't know where it's going. Oh, and by the way, Will just gets up and he starts walking. It's like, bro, you didn't even need the wheelchair, which is just another question I have. Also, who's the really skinny dude in spandex that watched Angela dismantle the wheelchair? And then he's running away, covers himself in lube, and he just kind of slides into a sewer down there with Pennywise. They're just hanging out, and it's just like, that was odd. I mean, I know we'll get an explanation. Will we? I don't know. And then, of course, we get our scenes with Adrian, which, in my opinion, are the most fascinating parts of every single episode. And in this episode, he killed all of the clones and he hatches new ones. And they walk in and they're a bit petrified, you can tell. And he said, I had a rough night. He loads the clones into a catapult and he throws them into the sky. So, what is Jeremy Irons' arc going to be in this show? I'm not completely sure as of yet. But like I said, there are some interesting things, some interesting questions being posed in this episode. And I did enjoy it. Maybe not as much as the others, and like I said, it does feel a bit more like filler. Not that I was frustrated, but I do see how some will be frustrated, especially if they're not 100% on board with this show. I'm interested to see in the comments down below, what do you guys think of this show so far? How did episode 4 stack up for you? Are you going to continue watching? Is it so different from the source material that it's very frustrating? But I can't wait to see where this goes. And it's a show that, even though I was so busy last week, didn't get to see episode 3. As soon as I had the chance to check it out, I did. Thoroughly enjoyed that one. Watchmen, guys, we are ramping up, and I have a feeling the next couple of episodes are going to be full-on action-packed. At least I hope. And I hope to see some more masked vigilantes in there as well. You guys are truly the best. Hey, this isn't the only video I'm posting tonight-ish, tomorrow-ish. Rick and Morty, the first episode of Season 4, is coming out, and I will be doing a review with a very special guest, so stay tuned to my channel. Like I said, either tonight, tomorrow morning, not 100% sure yet. Thank you so much for watching. I'll be back next week with another Watchmen review. And hey, hit that thumbs up if you want to see more. I'll see you soon.